If pharmacy watched here, husband slip into a coma on the kitchen floor. Her response? He just needed to sleep it off. February 6th, 2019. A private plane sits on the tarmac in West Virginia. Michael Cochran is supposed to board. He believes he is finally going to see the money from government contracts his wife promised. The flight never happens. His wife cancels it that morning. By afternoon, Michael is unconscious on his kitchen floor. A physician assistant pleads for him to get help. His wife says he needs to sleep it off. By February 11th, he is dead. It would take federal agents, a Ponzi scheme worth $2.5 million, an exhumed body, and a forensic pathologist willing to call it murder to answer what really happened. Michael spent 19 years building a life with a woman who was lying to him the entire time. Michael Brandon Cochran was born in Beckley, West Virginia in 1980. He grew up in Raleigh County, where reputation matters as much as money. His stepfather, Ed Bolt, entered his life when Michael was 8. The two formed a lasting bond. From boyhood, Michael was defined by physical activity. He played baseball, basketball, and football. By high school, he won first place in a powerlifting competition. Fitness was part of his identity. That detail will matter later. When Michael was 17, he met Natalie Jessup at a sporting goods store. Both enrolled at West Virginia University. In November 1999, they got engaged. They married in May 2000 and settled in Daniels, West Virginia. Michael worked in information technology. Natalie became a licensed pharmacist. The couple had 2 children, Nicole and Ashton. Michael's true identity was fatherhood and youth sports. He coached football and baseball. He was present and invested in other children too. After a young boy lost his father, Michael stepped in. He took the boy fishing and brought him to practices. For 17 years, this was Michael's life. In 2017, everything changed. Michael and Natalie joined Tactical Solutions Group, a company claiming to be a government contractor. Natalie quit her pharmacy job to run it full-time. To the community, it looked like an exciting new chapter. Investigators later discovered TSG had never been awarded a single government contract. 2 state contracts were canceled due to delays. The entire business was built on almost nothing. Natalie told friends the model was inspired by the movie War Dogs. At least 11 people invested approximately $2.5 million. Natalie used stolen identifying information to send fake emails from legitimate sources. The Cochrans owned 3 homes, motorcycles, an antique Shelby Cobra, and took vacations to Paris and Hawaii. Before the fraud became public, Natalie had served as treasurer for a youth baseball league. Money went missing. A private investigator found purchases at TJ Maxx and Olive Garden. Michael did not know the business was a fraud. He participated in looking for contracts. The same false information Natalie fed investors, she fed her husband. By early 2019, cracks were forming. Michael was asking questions. Natalie scheduled a trip to Lynchburg, Virginia to supposedly access funds. The flight was set for February 6th. That morning, Natalie canceled it. On the same day, a neighbor dropped off insulin at Natalie's request. At 12:21 p.m., Natalie texted a contractor. Michael was sick and on the kitchen floor. He was unresponsive. A sternum rub produced no reaction. A physician assistant arrived and begged Natalie to get help. Natalie's response was that Michael needed to sleep it off. Hours passed. Multiple people urged medical care. Michael finally arrived at the hospital with a blood glucose level of 21. A person at that level is typically in a coma fighting for their life. Doctors found cerebral edema, severe brain swelling. Michael never regained consciousness. He was transferred to hospice care. On February 11, 2019, he died. His obituary spoke of a man who loved coaching youth sports. The family asked for donations to Shady Spring Middle School baseball. Nobody was calling it murder. But the investigation into the financial fraud continued. In June 2019, police searched the Cochran home. They found insulin. In September 2019, Natalie was indicted for wire fraud, bank fraud, and money laundering. She had defrauded 11 people of $2.5 million. A retired state trooper testified she continued seeking investors even after Michael died. In 2020, Natalie pleaded guilty. She agreed to pay restitution and forfeit assets including the Shelby Cobra, real estate, and jewelry. She was sentenced to 135 months in federal prison. In November 2021, while serving that sentence, she was indicted for first-degree murder. Michael's body was exhumed 7 months after burial. The exhumation autopsy could not identify injection sites due to decomposition. That inconclusive result became the defense's strongest argument. The trial began in January 2025. Prosecutors argued Natalie killed Michael because he was too close to discovering the Ponzi scheme. Endocrinologist Dr. Diane Krieger testified insulin was the only medical explanation. Pathologist Dr. Paul Uribe concluded Michael had been administered insulin and his death was homicide. An FBI examiner testified an insulin vial's rubber top appeared punctured. Natalie gave conflicting accounts of the day. The defense argued Michael's death came from steroid use. His daughter testified he took supplements laid out on a dinner plate. The jury deliberated less than 2 hours. They found Natalie guilty of first-degree murder. The mercy phase determined if Natalie could ever get parole. Natalie's mother pleaded with the jury. Her daughter called her best friend and wanted her present for future milestones. Her son said their decision would shape the children's lives. The jury deliberated the mercy decision for just over an hour. They returned with no mercy. Natalie was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Her attorneys filed motions for acquittal or a new trial. Judge H. L. Kirkpatrick denied them. Michael had spent 19 years trusting the person closest to him. Yet when he started asking questions, she canceled the flight that would have given him answers. Natalie was a pharmacist. She understood what insulin would do to someone who did not need it. She knew the effects would be catastrophic. She waited while Michael lay unconscious. She waited while neighbors begged her to get help. She waited until it was too late. Then she buried him and continued the fraud. The scheme did not stop with his death. She kept collecting money. The jury gave Natalie what she had denied her husband: no mercy, no second chances. She will spend the rest of her life in a prison cell. Michael is still gone. Like, share, and subscribe for more.